Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 32nd edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by PTA's number one fanboy, Liam.
Hey.
And my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator, Jaden.
Hey.
Hi. Hey to both of you. Hey to both of you.
I felt like replicating Liam's today.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. Same tone, same everything, same word. Crazy.
Yeah. Just a master observer like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we have you on a film podcast, Jaden. You nailed it.
Yeah.
Well, for those who don't know, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. Search us up, subscribe, follow, do all that. Follow the Instagram page, like the YouTube video as well. That helps us out. We appreciate all of that. Go everywhere. I don't care if you just listen on Spotify, go to YouTube. If you just listen on YouTube, go to all the other apps. We like that a lot. Submit your questions, thoughts, reviews in the YouTube comment section for next week's film or for any film we do. But our question of the show this week is going to be, who is your favourite female director? We thought that tied in well into this week's film. So leave your answers in the comments below. This week we're reviewing Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which opened in France on the 18th of September 2019. It was directed by Celine Sciamma. Crushed it. Genre of a drama romance. And the synopsis reads, on an isolated island in Brittany. In Brittany? Where is Brittany? Or Brittany?
Isn't it just Brittany?
Brittany.
Brittany, yeah.
Where's that?
No, Brittany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I assume it's near France, right?
Guess so.
West of France.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of the 18th century, a female painter is obliged to paint a wedding portrait of a young woman. Terrific. I was thinking, when I saw the female director for this one, and it kind of shocked me. Have we ever done a film with a female director before? I don't think so.
The Matrix.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. I just thought it was funny after this many episodes. This is how long it took, but never mind. I take it back. How do we feel about Portrait of a Lady on Fire? Jaden, do you want to start us?
Not really.
Oh, okay. How about you, Fitzy?
Sure. I thought it was really great. I thought the first half was kind of slow, but as it went on, it got better as it got closer, and I thought the last 10 minutes was just really elevated it. It was really amazing.
Cool. I thought the movie was excellent. I liked it a lot. The only major con I have, and it's just kind of, it's not even major, honestly. I just want to kind of get it out of the way at the start because it's not even worth bringing up again, really. It's just that, for what this film is inherently as just a period piece, as a character drama, the pacing isn't always, for me, just 100% what I want out of a movie. It does have its slow moments that have me checking out for little bits and pieces, of course, because I'm so casual as it is. So, get that out of the way at the start. Never want to mention that again. But that was a reality of me watching it. Other than that, the story they were telling, the characters, the direction, everything completely stood out to me. And I thought the movie was bloody terrific. So yeah, now we have to come back to you, Jaden.
Pretty similar feelings. Except for everywhere I've looked, the last 20, 15, 10 minutes, whatever, have been praised. But to me, they're kind of the weakest part of the movie. I love everything prior to that. I love just just watching their relationship develop and everything there, and then post that I kind of just, I don't know, was withdrawn for some reason. But yeah.
Really. So what? Was it that you weren't invested in them, or do you just
no
in those last minutes?
Well, I mean, that's what's weird, because I was invested in them throughout the entirety of the rest of the movie, but just, I don't know. I don't, the way that it ended, just I think because it was a bit different to how the rest of the film was structured or paced or whatever. How it was really just a slow development or whatever, and then to kind of just pump out these these last two meetings or these last two sightings at the end, it just felt a bit weird to me.
Yeah, I guess. I think it is. It's definitely the most standout part of the movie, at least I think, in terms of feeling the most different from the rest of the movie. But that totally worked for me. It felt like everything was kind of culminating in those last 10 minutes. But no, I mean, if you were vibing with the rest of the movie, I can see how it is definitely different. It kind of just leaves you on an interesting note, I think.
The last shot as well. I mean, it's just 2.5 minutes of just slowly, just like watching. What's her name?
Heloise, I think.
Yeah, just watching her reaction to I mean, like it's kind of cool, but like I mean, like nah, not really for me. Wasn't vibing with that final bit.
Right, interesting. I loved the final shot as it was happening. It was a complete roller coaster of emotions at that point. I was so invested in the story, and because it had already been established by Marianne in the narration that this is the last time she saw her, and as it was happening, and it was just zooming in, and it would not stop, and I kept thinking that some shit was going to go down, and I was on the edge of my seat the entire time throughout the entire 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It actually, when I read that it was exactly 2 minutes and 27 seconds long. When I read that, I was surprised because it went really fast for me. I thought it was
Oh,
if I thought it would have been 40 seconds. It went crazy quick because I was so invested at that point. Um, as it was zooming in, I kept thinking like, which if she was going to have a stroke or something, or if I actually the thought entered my mind if she was going to jump off the balcony, like like her sister did. But we kind of just get nothing but a performance, which still kind of left me very impressed. How did you feel about that last bit, Fitzy? The last sequence?
yeah, I love that bit and the the gallery part. She finds a painting and it's on the page 28. I thought it
Yeah,
was
that was
like a
great.
good. It was. It really became like emotional at the end. And I thought it was just a great climax.
Definitely. Yeah, all of that was wild. It really started, I think, when the because I was digging the relationship a lot. I was digging a lot about the movie, but for me, it was I think when the mother returned and everything after that, because you knew that at this point this relationship is over because they've been basically telling us that, telegraphing that the entire time that it's never going to last after this, and everything with that, with them leaving the island and then the gallery into the opera scene was wild for me. It totally, I think everything that the director was trying to convey to me there in terms of having me on a bit of an emotional roller coaster, especially in that long shot, conveying, I think, all of the emotions that she wanted to throughout the entire movie, doing it just within that one shot. It totally, totally worked for me. I loved it. Did anyone else think she was going to die or some shit in that shot, though?
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
but I
Um,
did think in the movie like that. Yeah, she was either gonna die or they were just gonna be uh separate or whatever. But yeah, because
Well,
like we know that they're not together, so she's either dead or they just weren't able to come together.
well, isn't it that she suffers the poet's death, like in the book that they're reading, and isn't that what's meant to what it's meant to be? It's meant to be like kind of like a retelling of that story that they were reading.
yeah, I think so. Wait, do you mean Marianne has the poet's death?
No, what's in Eloise has the poet because
I guess so.
Marianne turns around at the last second and looks at her and she fades away, and then in the next two times she sees her, it's not like it's not it's not what she actually is what she was kind of thing, isn't it?
Mm, yeah, I think you're right about that. I think you're right about that. As they were going through that story and reading it, oh damn, I've forgotten the finer points of it now. But as it was happening, that there was definitely thematic significance to all of that. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. That would be that. Sticking with the final shot just for a second, do you think everything that we see with her being shaking, visibly upset, and then smiling and all that, what is that about? Is that something again to do with the poet's death that I'm forgetting about the movie, or that because that was kind of bizarre?
Didn't wasn't she singing the opera at the end?
Yeah, the one that Marianne told her that she was showing her at the start on like the shitty piano thing, and she said you'll see the full thing in Milan. So I thought and now that she was finally seeing the full thing, I thought that was just kind of her just releasing all these pent up emotions of the years, you know.
Okay. So I guess in that way, then she would be right. So I didn't connect that was the same opera, but of course. So I guess in that way, it is her totally, yeah, reminiscing on and remembering, as they keep saying in the movie. You know, don't regret, remember. Um, remembering all those emotions that she had with the days that she spent with Marianne, all they're coming out on the spot. Okay, yeah, that's great. There you go. Me just saying that out loud, just you guys helping me with that. That just gives the movie, I think, such a great, well-rounded journey for these characters thematically. I just thought, all that worked for me while I was watching it, and then connecting the dots like I just did. Oh yeah, no, I thought the movie, dude, it was great. I love that.
Yeah, it kind of feels like there's no loose ends. Like everything's like set up and payoff, kind of tied up in that way. Like the opera
Absolutely.
and the page number and the story she tells, and all just kind of comes together.
Yeah, definitely. Another example of that, I think, is the when Marianne keeps seeing the ghostly figure in the corridor. You know,
Mm.
in the house, and when that happened the first time, I was like, what? I felt like I was in Get Out for a second or something. It was super strange, but that something that was introduced halfway through the movie completely took me off guard, and then by the end came around into being making perfect sense, feeling super earned in how it's used. And if I'm not mistaken, when she sees it, the figure for the first time, which is of course meant to be like her remembering Heloise the last time she saw her in that state in that dress. But when she's the first time we see the figure, it's not actually her though, is it? Like her face is it's like a different person. Her face is off a bit.
I thought it was her. I don't know. In
Okay,
the wedding
okay,
dress.
yeah,
Um, she does look a bit blurred though, kind of like ghostly figure, but I still think it was her.
right, yeah. I mean, it's definitely meant to be her. I was I was personally looking at her face. The first times they came up, I couldn't actually see that it was her. I'm pretty sure that's not her. But yeah, whether it was blurring or whether it was a different person, I don't know. It definitely did come across as not right. You know what I mean? And I think that was very deliberate. I think it kind of immediately links back to the whole thing of forgetting what you look like. In terms of if the narrative is framed as Marianne, this entire us going through her relationship with Heloise the entire week or so it lasts, because the movie starts with her in the future in the art class. If that's how it's framed, and then we get the moments where she's looking down the corridor, that is essentially her in the present trying to remember her face. If that makes sense, that's what I took away from that. I thought that was super clever, just because I don't know why else the face wouldn't be super clear to me, because there was definitely something going on there. I don't think it was just the actress standing there. I'd have to rewatch it.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some kind of ghost like blurry effect or something.
But the reason that stood out to me is because when you get the payoff of her right at the end, Marianne, she's storming out the house and she looks back and sees Heloise in that exact pose, in that exact outfit. And it's clearly her that time, obviously, standing there. That thought, obviously your brain immediately triggers, okay, that's the ghostly figure, got it, because it's obviously so clearly presented as such. But the fact that I and whether or not I think these things work in movies, these kind of trying to convey these sort of more abstract thematic concepts to the audience, a lot of the time it comes down to, I think, how capable the director is, and also just like if the audience is paying attention, or i.e. isn't stupid. And a lot of the time, we miss things in movies, especially me. I miss things in movies because I'm bloody, off with it. But then of course a lot of the time it's the director isn't very capable. And I think for me this was a perfect storm of, except apparently that not the last shot with the opera, but everything else in the movie was a perfect storm of I was fully vibing with it, fully getting it, and the movie's so well directed that these ideas were being conveyed to me on the spot and I was picking them up. And when that happens, when a movie clicks like that with you, especially a movie like this, yeah, there's nothing better than it. I really liked it a lot. It was awesome.
Yeah, Finny, I'm looking at a bunch of screenshots and it's her in every single one. In
clearly?
Yeah.
Like clearly?
Yeah.
I'm really disappointed that you ruined my entire thematic idea there.
Yeah,
Did you think when you watched it?
Then.
Just pretend.
Just pretend I never said it.
Just pretend I nailed it on that entire rant. But Jane, did you think it was her like clearly when you were watching it though?
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah.
Oh, I swear to God, yeah, I was with Fitzy. I swear to God, like I was staring at the face and there was something off about it because I was deliberately trying to think that must be Heloise, but
there was something off about it. But I think it was more just to do with the way that it was lit, probably just because it was so. I don't know,
yeah, it was lit specifically.
Yeah, I just think because it was different to everything else we'd seen, that's why it jutted out so much, and it may have appeared off, but like, yeah, no, to me it was her face, and it was all clear.
I mean, it's weird because like there's no light in the room, so it's just like her, standing there, and the dress kind of looks wavy,
transparent a little bit.
Yeah, transparent, I guess.
Yeah, wavy. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, all of those were striking for sure, but I genuinely was staring at the face, and I thought the face was off. So it seems I'm absolutely wrong on that very specific thing, though.
Perhaps it was just because it was I think it had the makeup for like the wedding thing on, and maybe it was just that. Was it? Because throughout the rest of the film, she's kind of in a more natural, not so heavy makeup. But then I think for that they kind of cake her up a bit. So was it maybe just that, and you couldn't tell because?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh
well.
In Phantom Thread, they do the mom ghost thing.
That's right.
In the room, but and that kind of serves like its own metaphorical or a narrative purpose in that film. But I think here it does that, but it's also just kind of it's literal because the last time she sees her in the castle, so it kind of works on both levels,
Huh, yeah, that's really true. Absolutely.
Because in Phantom Thread you don't see the mother literally, but here it's kind of the last literal image of her. So I like how it works on those. It's both literal and serves its own purpose in the narrative.
I mean, the relationship between Heloise and Marianne is really the core of the movie, so best get into that, I guess. I thought this was terrific. I thought the two. I don't believe I've ever seen these two particular actresses in anything else. Not that I've watched a lot of French shit, so. But no, I thought they were phenomenal. I thought the characters were really good. They were really simple. Really, nothing too complex going on there. But everything felt really authentic. The way in which their relationship progressed felt supernatural to the circumstances they were in. Given Heloise has kind of been confined, isolated in this way for some time, awaiting this marriage and how that makes her feel, and then Marianne kind of coming in as, I don't know, what would you say, the more experienced person, the person who's had much more life experience, but kind of drawing the similarities between the two and how that all sparks up. Yeah, I really dug all that about the movie and the dialogue.
Yeah, the cinematography is pretty amazing as well. How they always get the green and the red dress.
Oh
Just the
yeah.
Christmas colors and how they just contrast with the with each other, with like the ocean, those kind of shots. They're really cool. And it's kind of like they kind of look like paintings from that kind of era in a way. So it's just
Yeah.
kind of like rich colors and all that.
Absolutely, dude. The shot in particular for me of Heloise in the green dress, and she's like on the beach. I'm sure you know the exact one I'm talking about, with all the waves
Yeah,
and shit in
yeah,
the background. Dude, that is just imprinted in my brain forever. It was just the colors and the contrast of that was phenomenal.
yeah.
But along those lines, this film was shot in 8K. Celine Sciamma wanted to capture a large dynamic range of colors, and and for the film to feel contemporary, whereas 35mm felt too timeless.
I'm pretty sure 8K is a bitch to edit with because of how massive the file sizes are.
I can imagine, yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure, like, for like, it's utter ass, like, on the timeline, but I guess it kind of works out in the end.
Yeah, I suppose so. I know on my shitty laptop, 4K is a pain in the ass. So, yeah, 8K, God almighty. But I didn't realise that 8K has that effect in terms of, I don't understand a lot about in terms of resolutions and how it affects the image, not just the quality of the image. Obviously, 8K is better than 4K. We understand that, but in terms of like how it affects colors and dynamics and things like that, I didn't understand at all that 8K could have that effect on the range of colors and things like that in the film. But you see it, I think, even as we're watching it streaming, probably at like 720p or whatever.
Yeah.
And it did feel contemporary, actually. I think she nailed that effect. I don't know if I could put my finger on what it was, but it was the aspect ratio and all the colors didn't really feel as much like a period piece visually anyway.
Yeah, this is just how people live in France today.
That's where they are still in Brittany,
Yeah.
of course.
Going back to the relationship which you brought up, the only thing I kind of could compare this with, like in terms of films I've seen, is The Handmaiden and like the way that their relationship develops in that. So going into this, I had The Handmaiden in the back of my mind, and just I was I didn't really want to compare it too much, but it just kind of automatically happened. And comparing those two, I was far more invested in Marianne and Heloise's relationship than I was with what was presented in The Handmaid. And I just think it was really interesting because it's like you said, it was simpler. They're very simple characters as opposed to The Handmaid, where it's a really complex story and there's really a lot going on. So, like on paper, it feels like you're meant to attach yourself more to, those characters, but because, you have to become a lot more invested to understand them. But it was really something about how, how simplistic they were that, just kind of draws you in and raptures you,
Well, I think you spend more time with them in this as opposed to the Handmaiden as well. Because the Handmaiden gets wrapped up in the twist of the plot and, the different characters and all that, the different story details.
I've never heard of The Handmaiden, but in terms of everything you said about how the characters in this movie, yeah, I'm totally with you. Well, what are the similarities with this movie and that movie? Like,
It's
why?
a
What?
period piece with lesbians in it, pretty much, is
Got it. Okay, sure.
The Handmaiden's Korean though, so I mean, yeah, but
Okay.
it's a lot more complex, like story wise, but yeah,
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I guess it also has that kind of contemporary feel that we were talking about that this film has.
Why is it called? What's up with the lady on fire significance in the movie? Hey,
she catches fire.
she does catch fire, but she didn't react to catching on fire for a while. I was surprised by that.
Yeah, that was
That was my thought. I thought I was missing something. I was like, she's just like doesn't seem concerned at all. Is that she just caught fire?
Probably just like the dress is thick and heavy, and she didn't realize it first.
I guess, but even when she realised, she didn't seem that concerned.
I mean, she faints, doesn't she? She falls to the ground or whatever.
Oh yeah, she does too. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, oops. Cool scene though.
Yeah, I think the on fire thing is just about her repression and all that, like not wanting to go into the marriage.
Oh, okay.
Or I
How
guess,
so do you think?
I don't know, the way she doesn't want to do it, I guess. Just,
She's angry.
I mean, yeah, that, and also, I guess, the passion for Marianne.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those things, I guess.
We had this other Sophie side character, who's the I don't know, the servant or whatever. What's the correct term? Maid. Yeah,
It's handmade.
she was there. Yeah, the handmaiden. Um, I I liked her. I liked how they all felt kind of equally important. Not so much in the story. Obviously, the story is very much between the core two. But I felt like Sophie got a fair bit to do in the movie. She felt significant enough in the plot, and her whole kind of whole pregnancy thing felt significant, and it added some weight, I think, to the relationship of the other two as well. Until that finally fully became a thing, then Sophie kind of lost a bit of focus, I think. But I like their dynamic, is all I'm saying. The standout scene to me with her though was um, as she was having her abortion procedure, I suppose, for lack of a yeah. Uh, dude, that scene was something visceral. I don't know. Yeah, it affected me a little bit, though, especially having the obviously very intentional children rolling around her right next to her as that's happening. I was like, oh Jesus, this is very cool. Everything about that scene felt super. Not that anything in the movie isn't very deliberate, but everything about that felt super deliberate and felt super pro-life to me, which I'm not 100% sure was the intention, but I don't know what the hell else the intention would have been because it had that effect on me 100%. It was...
I definitely do not think that was the intention.
Why is that?
Pro-choice is definitely the more feminist ideal, and considering everything else about the film and how much of a feminist tale it is, I don't think it would just all of a sudden switch to that for that purpose.
Well, I don't disagree with you broadly speaking. Like, obviously, it's a feminist tale. Obviously, feminism is more pro-choice. But I'm specifically in that scene. I think more specifically, if we're looking at that, and I think also, honestly, potentially other scenes in the movie, I think it looks pro-life. Like, how do you think that scene is specifically not pro-life?
I don't know.
What exactly happened in the scene? Was it just the pregnancy, the birth? Or?
Yeah, they terminate they terminate the baby, but then Zach's saying he gets pro-life choice because you have the other two kids right there rolling around.
Oh yeah,
but
not just rolling around. Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't really know what to say, but I disagree with that. I mean,
yeah, I don't think that's the intent.
Oh wow, I'm surprised by this. I thought it was really egregious, honestly. The way she interacted with the baby afterwards, and like literally straight after what she just experienced, the baby grabbing onto her face and stuff, and then the moment she shared with the baby was the most friggin' innocent, adorable thing I've ever seen in my life. And I immediately, dude, I'm not trying to suggest that this is at all what was happened. She was trying to, convey. But that's what I took from it. I thought it was super obviously like, wow, this is what you just gave up, or look at how pure this is, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I didn't think of that specifically, but
I think if it was to be pro-life, I think we would have had to have seen Sophie reeling from the effects of it more. Wait, the character's name was Sophie, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because when we first learn about it, she's so nonchalant about it. She's like, yeah, I'm just gonna wait till the mom leaves, and then I'm gonna deal with it. And then afterwards, we see her in a bit of pain, but it's never really too big of a grievance on her. It never seems like she regrets it beyond that scene. But I don't even think that scene is regret. I just think it's her almost, I don't know, just coping with the pain and trying to, I don't know, I do not see it anyway as, yeah.
Sure. I mean, I don't think she regrets either, necessarily. I don't think the movie clearly has a problem with regret, obviously.
Yeah, but I feel like if it was to try and pump a pro-life message, they would have had to have shown some more, aftermath like more of a devastating aftermath for her or something. They
Nah.
I feel like they would have had to carry it on to achieve that effect because they just leave it in that scene.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything in the movie is pretty subtle. There's nothing in the movie that feels what you're describing. Like, I wouldn't put past a lot of other films to do that, and I don't. Yeah, I think that's fair thinking. I don't think that's something if this film, that this director would try and do for any message she's trying to convey. Really, that sounds a bit on the nose if you were to then demonstrate the character afterwards or at any point in the movie reeling from the experience in that way, I think.
Well, if it was pro-life, how would that kind of relate to the story or tie in with it?
They talk a lot about, and I think this does relate back to the poet thing, I think, the poet story. I can't quite recall if it's brought up then or not. But the entire idea of love in terms of it being fleeting versus deep and how much it means to the soul, as grand as that sentence sounds. Because they do have, Marianne and Heloise have numerous conversations about, yeah, it is them, right? Yeah. They talk about, love isn't just something that lasts in a moment. This does link to the poet, right? I think. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, it does. It comes up there the first time, I think. But and I think that very much comes down to their entire relationship lasts 1 week. Well, I think, yeah, it's like a week, 5 days, whatever it is. Not long at all. And so much of that, once they clearly become a pair entwined, so much of the relationship is then having to try and deal with the fact that it's inevitably going to be over. And not only is it being over inevitable, it's very soon. And it's about them trying to, come to terms with that, trying and to deal with that. And they talk about, what they have is much deeper and will stick with them a lot longer than just time itself being only 5 days together, having only known each other for the amount of time they have. And, wow, I'm taking a long rant here, my apologies. And then obviously that kind of proves to be true in the epilogue with how sad Marianne still is about the emotions that are still brought up with them as they, well, not see each other in later years in life. And I think all of that, in some way, at least in my opinion, can link to, or does link to, the notion of pro-life a little bit, just in terms of the deep connections that we form with each other and how they can be missed out on, I guess. None of that made any sense, did it?
I guess if that interpretation makes sense to you, that's fine. I don't personally see it that way.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, if it was pro-choice, that might make more sense to the story because the story's all about how what's her name? What's her name?
Which one?
The blonde.
Heloise?
Yeah, Heloise. She's trapped in this position because she doesn't have the choice. She's forced into this marriage with this guy that she doesn't know, and that's kind of why she's so.
Oh yeah, sure.
So broken, I guess, or so upset. So from that perspective, I think
that's true.
That makes more sense, but
I do like how the film can be interpreted in these different ways, though. And it's crazy that. Yeah, I really don't know what Celine was going for with all that. Maybe she was going for a bit of both. Maybe she was trying to kind of showcase some of both sides, or yeah. I've got no idea. I just thought it was super interesting. Sorry about the whole pro-life thing. It made sense to me in terms of that shot with the baby stuck with me, and that deep connection, regardless of how missing out. I think on the chance to have her own child that was just taken from her right then, obviously by her own volition, but that she missed out on such a deep connection that you can make with a child in such by it existing. I guess is kind of. I think I got there in the end. That's what I meant. But do you guys think, regardless of that, though, that the scene with the child that has to be conveying something, right? Because that just the entire way in which that was shot, presented, choreographed with the baby was so deliberate, in my opinion. Of like, there is something to this, either which way.
Yeah, I didn't think of anything of it at the time, but I guess that like the fact that the baby was there maybe is an interesting idea, I guess. But I can see why that stuck in your mind specifically, but I didn't think of it at the time.
Sure. Yeah.
It's unlikely that she's trying to advocate for a pro-life message, but I can see where you're coming from.
This entire film is just so capably directed. I don't know if you guys experienced this. I found my eye being drawn to different parts of shots and scenes, almost like I felt like I was being influenced by the director magically as I was watching the movie in terms of what I was looking at on screen multiple times. There's a handful of times when there's a full shot or something. I think it happens once early on when we get a shot of Heloise's face, and I was particularly looking at her eyes. I don't know, like I was just drawn. Obviously, as a viewer, we're drawn to for eye contact anyway. But I was particularly noticing her eyes in the scene. I think with the way the color was contrasted and stuff in the scene, and then immediately Marianne mentions her eyes. I was like, holy shit, that was wild. And that happened for me numerous times in the movie where I found myself looking exactly, I think, where the characters were noticing things and where I was also looking at things. It was kind of a surreal experience for me. And I think that speaks to just how damn good she is.
Yeah, I like the the shots of her looking directly into the camera. I think there's those shots, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, they're really great. And when she first
maybe that was it. Yeah,
when she first follows her for a walk, and the camera's between them both, going back and forth. It's really good.
that was really good. That was really good, and they start running. The movie refrains from any sex scenes whatsoever, and I thought that was cool. I thought it was particularly good. Not the fact that sex scenes or not that makes a movie good or bad either way, obviously. But in terms of with the entire film and the entire story laid out in my head, having finished it, I realized how the moments that we get with them when they're naked lying together and the conversations they have there, how intimate those moments feel already. And I guess, from a pure basic storytelling perspective, the point of a sex scene, I guess, being included into your narrative would be to make the characters feel intimate. A lot of the time, it doesn't work that way. But it made me realize, wow, how the screenplay gives me that effect, that feeling between the two of them, while also giving me a deep conversation, and then doing all that unconventionally, I guess.
Yeah, I'm surprised that there's no sex scenes. I felt like there was.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I think that added something to the authenticity of the movie a little bit.
Blue. There's another French film about lesbians that I watched once called "Blue is the Warmest Color." They have a lot of sex scenes, but and it does serve the same kind of purpose, kind of understanding their intimacy more or seeing it.
Mm.
But some people do criticize the film for having too much and just not adding, having the sex scenes not add much after a while.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that's a trap that's easy to fall into, I think, if you're including that kind of thing in your story.
Have we talked about the lack of music? Or
Not yet.
because I thought it was pretty interesting. I didn't realize it until about, I don't know, 30 minutes in, because I felt like there just was, but it wasn't until I think when she started showing Heloise, the on the piano, and that's the first time we actually hear music, when I realized the lack of it in the rest of it. And it's really strange because even now, knowing that there was no score, I still feel like the film had a score, and I was reading the director commented about how she wanted by removing the score, you find music in other places in the when watching it, and I think it's so true. Like just in the movements and in like the background sound and I think it's really in my mind, because I still have that feeling. I think I think it's worked fantastically.
Absolutely. Yeah, she specifically mentioned here. I had the trivia. Thanks for ruining it. Ugh. But how the film is made up of a ton of sequence shots with precise choreography, which it is, and how you kind of find the rhythm in that as opposed to the music. And I think you're absolutely right. And the friggin' when all the group of them around the fire started singing or whatever, started that chanting. Well, it turned into a song, but it started as like a weird noise.
The THX logo.
That's exactly what it was. Oh, dude, I always hated the THX logo.
What?
I still hate it now.
What?
I hate it now. I hated it as a child. It scared the living shit out of me, and it still gives me nightmares, dude. It's
Dude,
horrifying.
I think you're the first person I've heard that says they don't like the sound of that.
How can you like it, though? It's scary.
It's
Brilliant.
nostalgia. It's great.
Nostalgia, yeah, nostalgia for my freaking worst fears. It sounds like death is coming for you, dude. So you reckon?
It's powerful.
It is powerful, exactly, yeah.
Um,
Whenever, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
no, sorry. But talking about like the lack of music, I think it elevates the parts where there are music, especially the ending. It's kind of like there's nothing as um exciting as the ending score, the ending sound, like Vivaldi, Four Seasons or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a great way to end the film on a climax.
100%, 100%. That entire thing, narrative-wise, was already giving me a stroke. And then that music just coming in hard out of nowhere definitely kickstarted it.
You mentioned the acting earlier briefly, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to come, but I think that the what's the Merlant plays a painter so well. I think like the way that, especially it's in her eyes, like you were talking about just like shots of her eyes before, but like they're so deliberate and like they're so intently looking and observing, and I mean, like, I'm not sure how much work they actually did to do that, or maybe it is just her looking and it's me just seeing that, but like, I mean, like, it feels, it really feels like she has an artist's eye where she is examining constantly.
Yeah, it's not just you. I got that for sure. Yeah. And I think, a lot of that's in the performance, I think. It's hard not to give credit to probably the direction there as well, just knowing how well the entire movie's directed. Final verdicts for Portrait of a Lady on Fire. I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was excellent for all of the reasons I've mentioned. How about you, Jaden?
Yeah, I've landed on a 9 as well. I think going in, I was tossing up between 8 and 9, and just kind of through talking about it, it swayed my opinion to the higher.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think we love rambling on this show. It's literally the entire point of it. But all our different interpretations of things, it all coming together, me not really, it feels like the film has a clear core of what the story is, but also things surrounding it that feel ambiguous. In that way, it feels like real impressive art and art that I really love.
I will also give it a 9. It's amazing.
All right, let's get into news chat. First of all, we got reports this week of good old Spider-Man returning, and that is Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, both of them maybe returning as Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3 to contribute to all this dimension bullshit that's happening in that movie, apparently. Dude, that'd be wild. I would be so down for it. I'd be so down for it. Now, these were reports. Sony has come out and, in a very vague way, like, I guess PR's attempt to debunk this, but they didn't actually debunk it because they said that these reports have not been confirmed, is what they said. So they just basically said nothing. Or if they made you have to say anything at all and not deny it, you could actually kind of almost look at it as a confirmation.
Mm.
So, but as Andrew Garfield's #1 fan, Jaden, how exciting is this for you? Are you psyched?
Oh yeah, I'm super keen to see him come back, but I'm kind of worried that they're going to try and make a Into the Spider Verse but IRL type one. I really hope that this doesn't become that, but I'm keen to see Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man again.
Definitely. Oh yeah, I'm keen to see both of them. I'm keen to see anyone at this point come in as Spider-Man, whatever. Imagine if they did Who Framed Roger Rabbit and like Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse is there animated. That'd be awful. But I mean, I'd be down for a Spider-Verse style thing, like you're talking about live action. I'd be down for it for this movie. I wouldn't want to see it. Like, I don't want that to be a continued thing that happens for years to come. If it were just the movie, the plot for this movie, I'd be okay with it. And then we close the door. That's fine. But Fitzy, of course, you're on the other end. You're Tobey Maguire's biggest fan. Feelings?
Yeah, no, that'd be awesome. I wouldn't mind seeing Andrew Garfield as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, Tobey Maguire's where it's at. He can be the dad, you know, the master.
Yeah. You can be just as cringe as always.
I wonder if they're going to like try and like if this is true, and I wonder if they're going to give them suits as accurate as they can to like what they were in their original films. I mean, surely they would have to, right?
Yeah, that'd be weird if they all like dress up in the Tom Holland suit or something.
No.
Or like a different modernized suit. Yeah, it'd have to be, yeah.
Like they rock up without a suit, and then Tony Stark makes him a new one. Oh wait, he's dead. Oh shit.
Tony Stark's ghost makes a new one. Very cool. All right, now we got Furiosa details. This is the prequel to Mad Max Fury Road. That's happening. Good old George Miller. George Miller directed the first Mad Max back in the day, right? So he's been with this franchise the whole time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's directed everyone.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And but this prequel, it has Anya Taylor-Joy apparently. Is this confirmed?
Yeah.
Do we know? Cool. She's the lead. She's Furiosa.
Yeah.
Jaden's really happy.
Not really.
No?
I mean, like in terms of casting, yeah, I'm pretty happy. But like, I'd rather see a sequel to Fury Road rather than a prequel. Furiosa was never really a character that I was overly invested in. I never really cared to see her backstory of how she lost her arm or whatever. But I mean, like, if that's what George is going to give us, then I'll cop it.
But does anyone care about any character in that movie?
Yeah, Max.
Do they?
Of course.
Doesn't he have like 10 lines?
Yeah, but that's what makes him awesome. Well, Boba Fett's like 2.
That's true. Oh, hey, I'm not on the Boba Fett defense wagon. Don't worry about that. But it's a good point, though. It's true. All right. Cool. And oh yeah, and Chris Hemsworth was rumored for that. And so I forgot you said another name.
Yahya Abdullah, I think. Whatever. What's his name? I can't recall.
I'd seen him before, but I don't know from what.
Us and The Greatest Showman and Watchmen.
Oh, Watchmen. Oh. Ah, that guy.
And Aquaman, apparently. I haven't seen that one, but apparently he's in that.
Oh, yeah. No, it's still come back to me. Yeah, that's right. Very cool. Okay. No, he's good. We got Coming to America is coming to Amazon Prime. That's coming to America with the 2 in the middle. I don't actually know if that's what the title is, but if it's not, someone should be fired. Yeah, it's coming to Amazon Prime like Borat is. It was obviously meant to have a theatre release, I would presume, but they sold off those rights quick smart. Any interest in this one?
I love the original. I'm keen to watch this one.
Do you? You love the original?
Yeah, the original's great.
Yeah, I like it too. I mean, I wouldn't say I love it, but
yeah,
I like it.
I think that was peak Murphy.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Like between that and Beverly Hills Cop, that's peak Murphy.
Oh, of course. I haven't seen those. Yeah.
Is Eddie Murphy in this one?
Yeah. I think James L. Jones is in it again too, which is great. Dude, live action James L. Jones at this age, this is a treasure. This is a treat.
I don't think I've actually seen. I don't think I can remember anything I've seen in live action. Live?
Yeah, yeah. I think that might be it for me.
He was in a Doctor Strangelove. That's what I've seen him in.
Ah,
And apparently he was in Click.
that's the one where like the TV remote is evil or something.
It's not evil, Adam Sandler. It's a universal remote. I mean, like,
Ah,
You can like pause his life and like rewind it.
ah, that's actually pretty cool. I'm sure it's an amazing movie.
Yeah, in terms of Sandler, it's decent.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool.
I feel
I've
like
definitely seen the first 10 minutes before.
yeah,
But that's it.
me saying I liked a film is like no, like valid, praise, because I mean, like I just like pretty much every film I like. So
You say you liked it. It could be anywhere from a 2 out of 10.
yeah, it's like if I like it, it's like a 4 to a 7.
Let's get into our highlights of the week. What have you been watching, Mr. Lamb?
I binged a bit of Succession,
Oh,
HBO
yeah.
TV show. It's got 2 seasons at the moment, but I think a 3rd season is coming. It's just about this really rich family. This dad is like this massive media mogul. Apparently he's based on apparently the family and him is based on
Murdoch.
yeah, the Murdochs and Rupert Murdoch.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
And yeah, it's just about their egos and about who will succeed. The father, and it's very businessy. There's a lot of stuff about there's all these acquisitions and taking over these other companies and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I feel like this would be up my alley. I've heard good things about it. So people seem to dig it a lot.
Yeah, the characters really good. The directing and everything. It kind of this and Mr. Robot kind of feel filmy to me. Like Adam McKay directed the first episode, I think. He directed like the
Oh, really?
Big Short and Vice and all that kind of similar stuff. And the way the camera's used in the show, like the the zooms, which are pretty funny some of the times, just and the way it like really moves really quickly. It's kind of like feels like there's a consistent director behind it, even though there isn't. And same with Mr. Robot, how it's got its kind of unique style and cinematography and everything. Kind of like auteur television shows.
Mr. Robot was chucked on Stan, so I'm keen to watch that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was too. Yeah. Yeah, it feels like, dude. What's his name? Sam Esmail. Esmail.
Yeah.
It feels like his hands all over that show every second of it, which is cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you say Succession generally gives off the vibe of an Adam McKay movie?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a good endorsement in my opinion. Very, very sick. How about you, Jaden?
Yeah, the most exciting thing of my week is also television. I've been watching The Boys. I binged season 1 and 2 episodes into season 2. Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's a great soundtrack. Like between this and Mindhunter, I think best TV soundtracks. And like it surprised it like every time I see the Amazon logo at the start, it always surprised me that they bankrolled it, because it's got like anti-corporation themes or whatever, and like in terms of like despotic corporations, Amazon's like third. So like but
Yeah.
It's great. I love it. I think the comedy's great. The action's cool. I mean, and it's just refreshing. I don't know. I really like it.
Yeah, I like it all too, dude. You better not beat me on season 2, man. I'd be really disappointed.
Where are you up to now?
You probably are though. I've got 2 episodes left.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna bang it all out tonight then.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh, you probably still will beat me though, honestly. Oh well. Yeah. I watched Escape from Alcatraz, the film. Have you both seen it?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was good. I liked it. I think the first half's a lot better than the second half. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the actual escape from Alcatraz is pretty underwhelming and like it's like, whatever. I feel like I'm just watching the actors kind of just stumble around outside in the dark for a while and then they just get out. So cool. But the actual introduction and everything, the way they establish Alcatraz as a setting and there's some really cool characters in there. I thought the dialogue's pretty solid all around. Yeah. No, I generally I did like it. I did like it generally. I wish the title of the film kind of the actual event of that lived up a little. It was a bit stronger. How did you feel about it when you watched it? How long ago did you watch it, Hayden? I don't know.
It was ages ago. It was on TV.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 4 to 7 somewhere in there. Yeah.
Now, as always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. I said our shitload in that, didn't I? Last week we asked you how you feel about adaptations of novels into television or film, and yeah, if you prefer creative liberties taken or not, how much it bothers you, etc. Luke says, I suppose it depends on the intention. If you want to use a novel as the base for a film or television slash television to expand upon the story, then it must be consistent with the previously detailed quote unquote vibe of the series. However, there can still be artistic liberties taken so long as they don't undermine the original values. For example, if someone wanted to make a Harry Potter spin off, which used the names of the characters, locations, spells, but was completely off book, something like instead of a Quidditch match, they were BMX racing, or they had a fist fight with the villain instead of using spells or something of the sort, then the film or television is just trying to gain attention by piggybacking off of the success of the novel. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. So it bothers Luke if they just want to take the name, take the base level of the name of the story, and just completely do something way off with it, like totally off. In BMX racing at Harry Potter, yeah, that is definitely off. So I would take from that then that you don't really mind when there are changes to the story and characters and things if the core of what that thing is still intact. So great, Luke, thank you. The pub grub pig wrote in and said, I was furious when I watched the Witcher Netflix series. Elves not as described, Yen looking ridiculous, and Triss looking like something else. As a wise man once said to me, treat it as its own and appreciate it. If you want to follow the source material, do it, but make sure it's it or marketed it differently. This Lord of the Rings Amazon series might be our greatest example yet. I keep forgetting that show's happening, but I hope it's good. It's going to have apparently like a stupid budget, which is awesome. So, good to know our Amazon Prime subscriptions are going to something cool. How do we feel about this? This is kind of a harder one to tackle as opposed to just, oh, my answer's Star Wars or some shit, I generally don't mind when creative liberties are taken as long as the result is still feels interesting and good. I'm happy to kind of judge things independently, I suppose. I don't think, oh, that person wasn't described as that in the book, so therefore I hate it. Like I'm not really that kind of person, but I know a lot of people feel that way. How do you guys feel about it? That's like a solid starting point, I guess.
I think you have to take it by case. I mean, I don't see if there's a way of not taking it case by case because I mean, like, it really is dependent on the source material and then the director's treatment of it. I think if you're adapting a beloved novel, you owe it to the fans and to the original writers to keep the core intact. I think. What always comes to mind is like the way that Garland treated Annihilation, in that he read it, left it for 10 years, and when it was writing the screenplay, he based his screenplay off what he remembered, not off the book. I think that's a good approach. But yeah, I don't know. It's because like what also comes to mind is this isn't adapting a novel, but it's just doing a remake. Is that I think it was Dario Argento. He said in regards to the remake of Suspiria, he said if you're gonna pretty much rewrite the entire film and not have it in nearly any way resemble the original, why call this video? Just say it's based off this, but then change up the name. And I think that's also a decent approach that you can take.
Yeah, totally. How about your Fitzy? Your Fitzy? How about your insight, Fitzy? Is the sentence I was trying to say.
Yeah, I agree with what you guys said. I think The Shining is a lot better because the film's a lot better because of what Stanley took from the book and left out. Like he kept the same kind of psychological horror from the book and expanded it in the film, I thought. And I guess Fight Club did the same thing. So if the same tone or feeling is there, then it can be as good or better. I think Chuck Palahniuk, the writer of Fight Club, said that the film kind of took the sharp tone of the book and made it better just because of the nature of film to be quick and explosive. So yeah, it just depends, But something like Little Women, which Greta Gerwig did, I don't think there's much you can change there. But yeah, it depends, I guess.
Was her film really a one-to-one adaptation for the most part?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think Dune is going to be. I think Villeneuve said Dune is going to be as well, which is funny because Jodorowsky's vision of Dune was so him and so different. But yeah.
Yeah.
What's your opinion?
It depends. I said my opinion, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah.
No, I must have blended in with the audience submissions.
Oh yeah, that's all right. That's okay. Well, that's it for this week's episode. It's a bit sad, isn't it? We've got to move on now. All good things must come to an end and all that. What are we watching next week, Fitzy?
Well, Jaden and Zach are watching Star Wars, The Clone Wars Season 7, last 4 episodes. Some kind of arc or something. I won't be there next episode. So
thank Christ.
Yeah.
We are. It's going to be sad. We're losing. Well, you haven't not been on a single episode of this show, Fitzy. So I don't understand how we'll cope. Honestly, it's like we've been walking this entire time with 3 legs and we're losing one.
I'm scared of next week's episode. I don't think I can carry a conversation with just I'm going to struggle with the back and forth.
It'll be fine. We'll have fun either way.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. That's a good question.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are watching Clone Wars Season 7. We're reviewing the entire season, to be clear. But of course, Fizzy's not wrong in highlighting that the last 4 episodes are really the meat of that season. So, but yeah, regardless, we're reviewing the whole entirety of the final season of the Clone Wars. You can find it on Disney Plus if you haven't seen it already. Unfortunately. Well, yeah, we all appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. Thanks so much.
Cheers, Tony.
Shout out.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Will.
Thanks. Thanks, Paul. Maybe?
I think so.
Anyway, we all thank you in various ways, and we'll see you all next week. Have a good one, and goodbye.